So, all right, y'all, let's dive into dynamic ads. Facebook actually updated the name to dynamic ads because basically there's a lot of other business models that advertise on Facebook that have catalogs of their offerings that aren't necessarily physical products, and that they're leveraging this ad type, this dynamic ad type, which allows you to dynamically insert different offerings into one carousel ad unit. And I'm going to show you examples of that based on what someone has seen in the past, or just based on what you want to show them. And one like caveat before we get started is that dynamic ads rely on a couple things. They rely on your Facebook pixel and your Facebook catalog, and getting those things talking to each other can be somewhat technical. So I'm going to run through what will seem like a lot of bullet points, but I'm going to give you this I'm going to give you this file, this slides PDF, so that you can kind of have an overview of everything that needs to be included. And then I'm going to go through examples on Boom and show you how we're doing it. So let's talk about dynamic ads. First, I'd like to point out where we are leveraging them in our sales process. It used to be that we would start here with a video advertisement as the number one thing that we showed all the people who came into our sales funnel. And this is just like a picture of one of the sales funnels that we use to send traffic to Boom by Cindy Joseph. I don't really want to get hung up on the specifics of this particular sales funnel because it's irrelevant to the topic of dynamic product ads, which is a type of, it's an ad unit that I want you to use in a number of areas when you advertise your business. So we used to always just lead with a video ad. And one of the things that we've learned, and that I will point out as one of the benefits of leveraging dynamic product ads, is that actually there's different pieces of creative that will resonate with different people. And if you only have video ads, for example, you'll miss out on some people who would have maybe engaged with a carousel, i.e. a dynamic product ad on the front end as well. So we are using dynamic product ads, or dynamic ads, which is a carousel of our products that I'll show you on the front end for a very small percentage of our budget, about 5% of our budget. We also use some image ads and stuff like that, and we'll get into that. So we use it here to get new people to know about us. That's probably 10% of our dynamic product ad usage is for front-end awareness generation. It's actually a really great ad unit to expand your creative for front-end awareness for e-commerce brands. Then we have like the rest of our sales funnel going on, where we're retargeting people who consume our video ad or who see our ads. People who make it to our article, we're retargeting them. We're not using dynamic product ads in any of these placements here. We're not using dynamic product ads when someone visits our store. We begin using dynamic ads, and the name change just happened, so it's like it's hard for me.
It's way less exciting. DA is not as fun as DPA.
I know. And everything, all my literature, all my documentation I have on this is all says DPA
No,
still.
I'm kind of disappointed, but I don't know. We can keep it throwback
a little bit. So the first place that we introduce, that most e-commerce brands, and us included, introduce this particular ad unit / piece of creative, the dynamic product ad or dynamic ad, is for people who visit the product offer page and then go away and they leave. We run dynamic product ads to these people. Some e-commerce businesses also run dynamic product ads to people who visit their shopping cart and abandon the shopping cart. And this was our strategy in the past as well. We've now updated our shopping cart retargeting to be video ads and messenger ads, and something that's a little bit more that we think is a little better than just DPAs, although we are using them sometimes for the shopping cart as well. And then you have like our checkout sequence, and then we're also using dynamic product ads, and I'm going to show you this, to upsell and cross-sell products from one collection to like if someone buys something from our moisturizers collection, we might advertise our cosmetics collection to them, right? So we're using it on the back end as well. So this is the main places that we're using DPAs in our sales funnel. Let's go through like let's kind of do an overview of DPAs, and then we'll get into how to set them up. So dynamic product ads or dynamic ads look similar to other ads on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Audience Network. Those are going to be the placements where this ad unit will show up. Instead of creating an individual ad for each of your products like you would normally do with an image or a video, you create an ad template that automatically uses images and details from a data feed for products that you'd like to advertise. I'm going to show you this, but I want you to have this written down when you go to set it up. And dynamic ads are using your Facebook pixel or SDK, but I think most of you guys are using the Facebook pixel to show the information that's in that feed that we're going to create to people who've shown interest in your ad or showing interest in your product by visiting the pages. So these are what they look like. This is the most sort of common way that you'll see them used. It's just a carousel with some text on the top and some dynamically inserted information in the carousel, such as the product image, the product name, the product price, and things like that. I'm going to go through and actually show you how to set this up. So some of the benefits to using this ad unit is to reach more people. So we have actually just started in the last like 6 months leveraging this particular ad unit to get new people interested. And this was at the suggestion of our Facebook rep. She said, hey, look, you should be using dynamic product ads at the front end of your sales funnel, and you should optimize for the purchase objective. And I'll show you this campaign in Boom. Reason being, we have found that some people who are super interested in buying products from certain categories will just engage with the products and buy them. It'll be small budget, but it'll convert. And I was very skeptical to leverage dynamic ads for front-end awareness because my strategy is build engagement by having someone watch a video, send them to an article so they consume even more content so that by the time they see our products, they are indoctrinated into our brand and messaging. Facebook said no, set it at a small budget, use it on the front end. You'll reach those super low-hanging fruit customers who we know are product buyers, and they were right. So I'm going to show you how that works. So you can reach new people with this ad unit, not just retargeting people. Obviously completing the sale, so retargeting people who visit your site to remind them of items that they viewed but didn't buy. I'm going to show you how to set that up. And then you can reach people across a lot of different placements. So I'm going to recommend that you enable all placements for this particular ad unit, and we'll see that. But basically, it's DPAs work on Instagram, they work on the Audience Network, they work on Facebook, they work across most of the available inventory. So that's good. And you can scale your ad creative. And this was the real key benefit for us, which was it gave us another ad unit that we could leverage on the front end beyond videos and images to get people interested in our products. So it's nice to have variety of ad creative and also ad unit. So not just a video ad, not just an image ad, but now you have a carousel ad of your products. That's kind of cool. So those are some of the benefits of it. I know that I'm giving you context right now and you're interested probably more in the specifics of how to set it up. However, I think it's important to go through the context before we actually get into the specifics.
And Ezra, Jason says broad DPAs top of funnel have been absolute fire these past 2 months. I'm seeing 3 times return on ad spend to cold audience. So that's really interesting. And I would say a big part of that too is, most people aren't using this because it is an objective, right? Like you're selecting catalog sales, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, you're selecting catalog sales, but then you are optimizing. So you're in here in your campaign. I'm going to show you guys all this. But
Right.
let's say you're in a campaign, you select catalog sales, but what happens is you actually are going to optimize for a specific conversion event on the ad set level,
Right.
such as like the purchase event, for example.
Right. Very cool. And, I know that Facebook, a big part of how they, figure out their inventory and how much your ads are going to cost is by objective. And I would assume that most people aren't using catalog sales to cold traffic. So there probably is a lot of opportunity there, top of funnel. And remember, guys, too, we talked about this objective a little bit in week 4, but you want to treat this similar to the conversion objective and make sure you're getting those at least 50 conversions a week, to make sure this is working. So just FYI, we had a few people ask about that.
Awesome. And yeah, I'm going to go over broad DPAs and how you set them up. Let's get into the requirements. So you need a catalog, and the catalog contains information on your products like pricing or item descriptions or anything that's kind of like has a bunch of information on the product. And you need a Facebook pixel, which is a pixel on your site that is tracking what happens when people engage with the products in that catalog. Let me show you an example of this. So you'll notice here we are on a Boom product offer page here. And when I check my Facebook pixel helper, I don't know if that zooms in when I make the page bigger. Does it? Let's see. I don't think that gets any bigger. Okay, can you see that in the top right-hand corner here, Molly?
Yep, I can see it.
You see how it says view content? That's an event that is firing, and then in that event, this is where it gets technical, and this is why I'm saying like you're going to need some support on the tech side of this. I'll give you the basics, but you see it says content name, boomstick color. It shows the category. It has the price of the product. It has the content ID. It's sending all this information back to my Facebook pixel so that my Facebook pixel knows when someone viewed this product, purchased this product, etc. Um, so these are the things that you're going to need to do. You're going to need to make sure that you have a Facebook pixel. Uh-oh. Do you have me? Yeah. Okay, good. I'm back. You have a Facebook pixel on your website, which everyone in this training does, right? At this point.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Then you have to create a catalog for all the items that you want to promote. So I'm going to hop in and just give you the basics on catalog creation. And this is where I said that like it gets technical and it's different for every platform, right? So for example, if you are a Shopify user and you go to the Shopify App Store, you can type in Facebook feed, and the most commonly used Facebook feed is going to be it's by Flexify. Where is it? Here we go. Flexify Facebook product feed. This is probably the simplest and most common one. And then you would install this app. And what this app will do is it will make a list of all your products inside of Facebook like that. So basically, I'm going to take you through this real quick. So in order to create this, inside your business manager, zoom in a little bit, you, underneath the assets column, click on catalogs, and your business manager account can have a lot of different catalogs. You'll notice I have a bunch of different catalogs. So you're not limited to one product catalog, but you only need one to function, but you could have a bunch if you wanted. Like some stores have a bunch of catalogs for a number of different reasons. You'll probably start with one. So you click the Create Catalog button. Again, we got here by going to Tools, Assets, and Catalogs. We clicked on Create Catalog. You're going to want to select the category. And so this is what I was saying about other companies having data feeds that have information that they can leverage inside of ad units. Like obviously the travel people, when you're on their travel sites, know a lot about what you're doing and can put informations like certain properties you might want to rent or flights you might want to buy. Same with real estate, same with auto. It started only for e-commerce and physical products, and it expanded to data feeds that support these other industries. So in our case, we're doing, that's why it went from dynamic product ads to dynamic ads. We're going to select e-commerce as the category for our catalog. We'll click the next button. And this is where we are going to either connect our e-commerce platform, and it's got information on how you do that. And each one of these platforms has like a native integration that's okay and apps that support it. So you're going to want to Google around for your platform and figure out the best way to create a data feed. In this case, I'm going to select the ad products using a form data feed or Facebook pixel because one of the things that, since we're using Flexify, we're not actually using Flexify, we're using a different app that we're going to switch to Flexify from. But anyways, Flexify will give you, where's that? Will give you that data feed. So they will give you the feed that you're going to need. They'll connect to your Shopify store, create the feed, allow you to make edits to the feed, which we'll talk about, and then they'll give you this feed. So then I'm going to name it like Booms, doesn't matter what you name it, products, and the owner of this catalog is going to be my business manager, so I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to click create. And now the catalog exists, and within the catalog, I need to actually set up the product syncing. So I'll click view catalog, and it's going to like, your catalog's being created. And now from within this catalog, I need to add data to it, right? So I need to connect it to my pixel. I need to add products into it by using a data feed and clicking next, and then setting a schedule, and then giving the feed URL. And what happens is apps like Flexify and any app for any e-commerce store is going to give you a feed URL, which will then populate your catalog. So that's the part where I don't want to spend too much time on catalog setup and loading the products into your Facebook catalog, because the specifics of that are vary based on each individual technology stack, whatever e-commerce store you're using, whatever e-commerce app you're using to pull the products from your e-commerce store and upload them into your Facebook catalog. So, so I'm going to operate from the perspective that you will do the research on your end to figure out what to create a catalog and then figure out what feed generator service for your e-commerce products is the best and leverage that to fill your catalog with products. And what happens when you do that and you ensure that the view content events are firing on your product pages is then your Facebook pixel here is receiving data when someone adds a product to the cart, when someone views content. So for example, if I click view content, you can see, let me just open this up. You can see that this is receiving data for when someone's on a desktop, what specific products they viewed, what URLs they were on, so they were on the Boombag URL. So all of this data is flowing into my Facebook pixel by virtue of me having a feed of products in my catalog, and that feed of products in my catalog being connected to my Facebook pixel and passing the data from those products to the Facebook pixel, which then allows me to manipulate my audiences based on whether or not someone viewed a product, added it to the cart, or purchased it, which we're going to talk about when we actually set up these ads. And the tech side of that is different for every store / depending on the apps that you're using. Does that make sense, Molly? Do I need to?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
trying to like
that definitely makes
explain the
sense.
overview of it without saying do this step by step because it's going to be different for each store.
Yeah, of course. Makes perfect sense.
Okay, sweet. So
really quick, a few people are asking, do you still recommend Trackify?
Well, here's the double down low on that, okay? So I'll tell you what. So the double down low is that we are using an app called Trackify. That's the app that we are using. Now the problem, and it works great, and all this other stuff, it's fine. But the issue that I have with Trackify is that it replaces your native Shopify pixel integration. So it becomes the Facebook pixel for your store. And in addition to that, it can also build you a product catalog, feed, etc. And we're using it for that. So we're going to switch off of Trackify because we want to continue to use the Shopify native Facebook pixel integration rather than having a third-party app be responsible for all of our Facebook pixel data with Shopify. And we're going to test Flexify because Flexify is simply just a product feed. It doesn't also take over your Facebook pixel. So it's up in the air right now. Right now we're using Trackify to build our product feed and manipulate all the products that are in our back end and what information is being sent into Facebook. So Trackify connects to Shopify, gets all the data on our product, and sends it into Facebook through let me show you, through the, where is it? Here we go, product data sources. So so once you have a catalog, you have your product data source. Under event data sources, you just connect your Facebook pixel. It's real easy to do. Under product data sources, this is where we were, where you're adding the feed URL, and you can see that this is uploading the products from our store every day because we have a feed that Trackify created for us, which is at this URL right here. This is the feed they created. So it's kind of technical, but basically, we only want this service of creating the feed. We don't want everything else they offer. And so we're going to switch off of them. And I don't really know yet, to answer your question, whether or not to recommend Flexify because we haven't tried it. Right now we're using Trackify. I know it's kind of like not the best answer in the world, but it is where we're at.
No, great. And Jason said he's used both. Flexify is better as Trackify also has been having problems with DPAs since the Facebook change. So the first party, when Facebook changed from third party to first party pixel.
Oh,
that actually happened today.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Yeah, well, we've been, basically we figured out a way to only use Trackify for the product catalog and not use it to replace the pixel. But then, so that's kind of like we're kind of using it only as a way to sync the data from our Shopify stores products into our Facebook So we're using Trackify simply for this service, which is take the data that's in Shopify and sync it to this catalog inside of Facebook. So we have a list of products that we can manipulate. And since we're only using it for that, we don't, and we're not using it for all of its other features, we're just going to switch to one that just does that, which is Flexify.
Makes sense. And Andrew says if we one more as if we already had a catalog set up, would you still recommend an app like Flexify?
So if you already have a catalog set up and you are sure that your products are regularly being updated in here when you change because the thing about a feed from one of these apps is anytime you change the product name, the product main image, the product price, any of that shit, pardon my language, the availability, it will automatically update as you see here in this product data sources. It's going to upload every day and it's going to get all the relevant information. And that's very important that it's not just a one-time product upload, because you can do it manually. You can go and inside of your product data sources in your catalog, you can literally build a manual feed of product image, et cetera, and you can upload it. But you want it to be dynamic, and you want to ensure what's that? Yeah. And you want to dynamic. Yeah, you want it dynamic, and you also want to ensure that the data from that product is flowing. You want to connect your catalog to your pixel and ensure that when you go to your Facebook pixel and you check on your events, so I'll look at like view content, you want to make sure that those events are firing into the pixel. That's without that part where you have the products in your catalog and your pixel is tracking the events, you can't use the service, right? For retargeting. You can use it for front end if you just have the products, right? Because then you can just build a carousel of your products. You can just build a carousel of ads. But if you're not getting the view content and add to cart and purchase data, you can't do some of the more advanced stuff.
Awesome.
Okay, let's move on because I'm sort of drowning you guys in technical jargon. And I want to get to the fun stuff of actually how to do it. Okay, so then you create a dynamic ad and then you target people. So as I just mentioned, you need to be firing the view content event on all your product pages for that product and that product's information. You need your Facebook pixel to be firing add to cart events on the shopping cart page, and or when someone clicks a button and it's slides out a cart, so buttons that allow people to add items to the cart. And you need to be tracking your purchase events on your confirmation pages. Again, you'll need some technical support with your Facebook pixel for this, depending on your platform, but just to show you again, on our product offer page, we're tracking in our pixel the view content event. When someone adds a product to the cart, we are tracking the add to cart event. And when someone purchases, we're tracking the purchase event. And this becomes very important for the retargeting use cases of dynamic ads that we'll get into in a moment. So those are the events that you want to make sure are firing. The next thing is to make what are known as product sets, okay? And I'm going to give you some fancy ideas for product sets, but the most basic way to do it, it's the most simple way to make a product set, and real quick to show you what a product set is once you have a catalog and all your products are uploaded into that catalog, you can click on product sets and you can create an unlimited number of these, and you can create a product set and you can say, moisturizers, for example, and then it's like category contains, and then I would put, let's see, product type is, and then you can pull in your different types of products, or you can create the one that you want to create to start, because you need at least one to start, is just all products. And this is the one that you'll use most of the time for your retargeting, because that way anytime anyone visits any one of your products, it's in here. These product sets become way more important for people with big product catalogs. We only have 19 products or something like that when you add in all of our variants. And so we can literally just have one all product set. We create a couple other product sets for, like, when you look at our store, we will have a product set for each category. Boomsticks, there's 4 products in that. Moisturizers, masks, and cleansers, we'll have a product for that. Boom bags, and we'll have one of those. And then basically, like, let's say you bought something from this category, but not this category, we might run a dynamic product ad to you to advertise something from a different category. And the way that you achieve that is with product sets. So for example, what if I just said, product set, boomsticks, and then I would say, product is any of these, and then I'll select, boomstick color, boomstick glimmer, boomstick glow, boomstick trio. And so now, because I created this product set, and by the way, the order that I place them in this set is the order they are going to show up in the ad unit. That's something to know. So if I wanted this ad unit when I was running it, and you'll see this when we actually set up the ads, which we haven't gotten to, I would do trio first because that's the most compelling image. And then I would go color, and then I would go glimmer, and then I would go glow because this is the order in which they sell. You'll also notice it's the order in which we put it on the website because that's the order of popularity. So the order in which you add these items to a product set is the order in which they will appear in ad units, right? Is the order in which they will appear in this ad unit that actually shows up on Facebook that you're seeing here. And we're going to talk a little bit about this ad unit in a moment. So I want to give you some ideas for product sets that you might create. Obviously, you'll notice, let me just save this product set. I'll just click create. And now that product set is created, and I'm able to actually call that into an ad, those specific products. You'll notice all products is the first one and one that we use most often. And then we have some other specific ones based on what's live on our store, what date we're running these things and stuff like that. But to give you some ideas for product sets that you might want to make, you could do one set per category, which is something I pointed out, which is good to do. You could do it for price range, like products, greater than 100, less than 200. So you could then have ads that ran, you could say people who bought from this product set, which is over $100, market them this product set over $200. So you can use pricing to determine, because you have the price of your products and you know what people purchased what products, so you could create dynamic cross-sell ads that are based on the price that they ordered a product from before and whether or not you want to try to sell them more or less, cheaper or more expensive. Per markdown, so you could do a product set for any items that are on sale. You could do a product set for items from a particular theme, gardening, cooking, barbecuing, whatever, based on margin, based on stock levels, based on special shipping. You do so much stuff with product sets that's really advanced. I'm not going to get into, and that we're frankly not even using. We're using the categorical product sets. That's how we're doing it. That's as advanced as we've gotten with this. But you could go crazy. So let me talk to you about the best use cases, and then I'm going to actually show you how to set this up. So the best use cases are front-end conversions. As I mentioned, a percentage of your budget being used to drive awareness for your products. And the reason I would do this as a small part of your budget, I don't know what sales funnels have been taught, but you have to understand that with dynamic product ads, when someone sees this dynamic product ad, imagine you're using it on the front end, a front end conversion, which is what this is the actual ad unit that is being run right here. And we'll just we'll look at this ad unit. Do not worry about our number metrics. We're doing something different with our advertising than most of you will be doing, but $60 purchases, 1,000 purchases, $35 to get an add to cart, 1,800 add to carts, 1% click-through rate, etc. This is targeting. If we just look at who this ad that you were just looking at is targeting, I'll show you the targeting for it. It's a very wide audience, right? It's promoting the product set of all the products that are on our store. We're spending $1,000 a day on it, and it's excluding buyers, and it's targeting all women in the US over 45. So it's a wide ad. This is literally ad right here. The point that I was making was that this ad is going directly to these products. It is not going to a video. It is not going to an article. It's literally going to you're clicking that ad unit directly to the product. So if you're going to use it on the front end to generate awareness for your brand, I would recommend not having it be the bulk of your budget because it's image ad, shopping ad directly to product page. There's no video, there's no context, there's no articles, none of that. And so
Right.
we use it.
And especially if you don't have a lot of data, sorry, but the more the visitors to your website, the more people that purchase. Of course, Facebook then collects that data so that they know who, to show your ads to. So especially if you're just getting started, just be careful with your expectations there.
Absolutely. And I'm going to show you some targeting and budgets you can use for that when we're about to get in, and I'm going to show you how to set this stuff up now that I've gone through like 40 minutes of
This
context.
is awesome. I'm
Retargeting the
learning.
product in the shopping cart, it's the best. Every e-commerce store should do this. This is the best use case for dynamic ads, retargeting people based on the actual individual products that they consumed while they were on your website. What makes this is so powerful for multi-SKU stores. This makes retargeting for e-commerce possible for stores that have hundreds and hundreds of SKUs, because their retargeting becomes dynamic based on the products that people showed interest in while they were shopping the store. For brands that have much lower SKU counts, it still works super well, right? We only have 19 total. I think we have like 12 SKUs and 19 total when you have variants like 2 ounce, 4 ounce, 6 ounce. But anyways, this is a very, very compelling use case, and we're going to talk about how to set it up. And then the post-purchase cross-sell. So someone bought an item from one category, marketing them an item from another category. Someone bought an item for $100, marketing them an item that's more than that kind of thing. And then category promotions, which allow you to do custom imagery and some other fun stuff to the ad creative. So let's hop in and show you how this actually functions. All right. So to get started on, I'm going to be hopping back and forth between a couple of screens. I want to ask you, Molly, a question about the best, like where is the optimal zoomed in place?
That what you have right now is great.
Okay, great. So we are going to start on the campaign level, and I will just see if I can X out so we can get all the way back into the ads manager. And here we go. Okay, so we're on campaigns. We click this create button, meaning we want to create a new campaign, and we get to this setting here, which is on the campaign level. We want to set the objective. As Molly mentioned earlier, the objective for this particular type of campaign, whether or not you are using it on the front end to target new people or you're using it to retarget people, the objective is going to remain the same. The objective for the campaign is always going to be catalog sales. And this won't even show up as an option until you have uploaded a product, until you have created a catalog and uploaded your product feed and stuff and done the tech side of it. So select catalog sales. You're going to scroll down. It's going to ask you, what do you want to name the campaign and what product catalog do you want to use? So much like you have a campaign that houses your ad sets and ads, in your Facebook account, you have a product catalog that houses, so this is the catalog. You can create as many of them as you want, same way you can create as many campaigns as you want. Your product catalog is going to house the products and the product sets that you're going to advertise, right? And it's going to send information to your Facebook pixel. So much like when you are creating a campaign, you have to select ad sets. You also have to select the catalog that you're going to be leveraging in this campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and select the Trackify one because that's what we're using, and it's going to remind me, hey, this particular catalog has 19 individual products uploaded into it, and you could create a number of different product sets leveraging those 19 products in different ways. And so that's what it's reminding me when I select that. I'm going to name this campaign, and I do a campaign for awareness and a campaign for retargeting when it comes to dynamic product ads. So when you look at our ads manager here, you will notice that the campaign that is housing this particular ad unit that has a little bit of sales copy, an emoji with a unique selling proposition, and then the carousel of our products. It's a very simple ad unit. It's literally our products and like 2 lines of copy, and we actually have it on our list to go ahead and update this copy because it hasn't been updated in forever. But you'll notice that this has the date that we started the campaign and that it's a dynamic product ad campaign. I'm going to zoom in on it here. And that it's a test for top line or awareness. That's what we've named this campaign. We are big fans of naming campaigns starting with the date that we are running them for keeping good order of that. I'm sure that Molly has given you some content around naming conventions, and whatever she says goes here, but I'm just showing you what I have in my account, which is the date and the type of campaign,
Everybody
which is now.
kind of does it different.
Sorry, what's that?
Oh, I was saying, yeah, I told them everyone does it different. You can use dates, what type of campaign, your author, your avatar. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, totally. And so I like this, right? 10/24/18 is when this starts. It's a DPA campaign, and it's in the awareness pillar. Great. So I now have a campaign name, and I'm going to click the continue button. Now here is where I'm actually going to select the individual product set that's going to be advertised in these ads. So since this is an awareness campaign, I'm going to select either all products or 51118 alternate view or 51118, but I think I'm going to go with all products, right? Because this is going to pull in every single product that's in my product catalog. Since it's an awareness campaign, I'll just have them all in there, and Facebook will put in the ones that it thinks is the most relevant for that particular user. So I'm going to go ahead and select all products. Or you know what? Since my most popular products are the boomsticks, I might want to leverage that particular product set that we just created here called boomsticks. And it takes a few minutes for that to sync. So if I were to, you can also create one right here from this. You can create a new product set right from this ad. But if I were to refresh this and wait a few minutes, boomsticks would show up, but I'm just going to leave it as all products for now. I'm going to name this ad set, women 55 plus Whole Foods, for example, because let's just say that's who I target. And I selected my product set. I'm not going to get into offers and how those fit in. That's a way to add complexity to the particular piece to the ad by having a Facebook viewable discount. It's a whole thing. Don't worry about it. So here in the ad set level of the campaign, right now we have the awareness campaign that is leveraging catalog sales as the objective. We've selected our product set. We now get to choose who we want to target. Now, Facebook is going to recommend using dynamic ads to retarget people, and they're going to give you some options here. I'm going to show you how these function. But since this is, and we're going to go through this in a minute, but since this is a awareness campaign, I'm going to select this setting here, which is going to allow me to create an audience to target, or I could use a saved audience that I'd already created in the past from one of my past targetings. You can see we have a bunch of saved audiences in here, but I'm going to go ahead and just do a custom audience here that I'm going to create, and I'm going to go ahead and say I want women who are 55 years and older, who are women who live in the United States, and I'm going to go ahead and grab like Whole Foods. Let's see if that's a big enough interest. So it's not huge. Maybe I would add a few other targetings to get whatever interest targeting group that I want to use. I'll go ahead and just select one of our saved audiences here just to get an audience that I would actually run. So you can see I'm excluding from this saved audience my buyers, my lookalikes. I'm running to women who are interested in ULTA beauty. Now, you can edit your placements if you're being really conservative with your advertising and you're really trying to have a lot of control over where, like, for example, maybe you know that for your products and your brand, Audience Network and Messenger, they don't work for you, and maybe you're afraid of Instagram for some reason. My experience as of late has been that all placements, letting Facebook decide when they're going to show the piece of creative to the user based on what they know about where the user logs in and when they're most likely to purchase, is best for specifically the dynamic product ad objective and creative ad unit. But you can choose your placements just per normal, set your budget just as normal. Now, this is important. So when we are setting up a top line campaign, we want to choose a conversion event, as Molly said, that's going to have 50 or more actions per week. And so you might want to set the add to cart conversion event to optimize for, instead of, for example, the purchase event, if you get more add to carts and you feel like at the budget you're running, you're not going to get enough, right? But you want to set your conversion event that you want them to optimize for here. So it's just like normal. Everything is normal. The only difference is you're selecting the product set. That's it. That the product set that is going to be leveraged in the ad unit is selected on the ad set level. Everything else is the same that you already know. Now, you click continue, and this is where it gets fun. This is where you set up the ad. And what's cool is you can do a couple different types of ads. We're going to focus on one basic kind of ad, which is the standard carousel, which is the most common ad unit for DPAs. And I'm actually going to show you some real fancy ad units for awareness level DPAs at the very end of this. Once I finish showing you how to set up retargeting and cross-selling, I'm going to show you some real fun top line ads, which you can see here, where we are leveraging Facebook Canvas and some stuff you can do that's way more advanced but kind of fun to look at. But let's continue our setup for now. Okay, so we have our ad here. We're going to select the Facebook page that we want to leverage and the Instagram account if we're using that. We're going to leave this on carousel. That is the format that we're working with. We're not doing a single image ad, and we're not doing a collection ad. A collection ad is a whole other thing, and that is what I'll show you at the end. So as we scroll down, we're going to set multiple items as the catalog option. Item categories is advanced, and it requires that you are sending categorical data into your Facebook pixel, which we're not even doing at this time. So let's not even worry about that. You're going to just leave it on multiple items. Now the text field is just like your normal text field, and it's going to show up above the ad. So in our case, one of our favorite ways, especially with retargeting and even with awareness level ads, one of our favorite types of ad copy to leverage is a testimonial from a buyer and a unique selling proposition about the brand. We find that that works really well. We like these emojis have worked well for us as well. So we find that that is really great sales copy for dynamic product ads because again, you have to understand that especially on the awareness level, Facebook is only going to show this to people they know that shop products on Facebook, and people who shop products care about what, like, social proof is the number one motivator as it relates to converting someone who's interested in a physical product. And so we lead with that, and then we lead with a unique selling proposition, which is a full satisfaction money back guarantee. So it's just, if you're looking for a simple formula, obviously you write whatever copy you want. And Molly's got a lot of training for you on copywriting, so that you guys have done. But that's what we're doing here. Now, this is where we get to customize the actual imagery that is in the catalog. So we're going to leave this as a single image for each card. You could also create a looping video for each individual card. That is more advanced. I don't recommend starting with that, and it requires that you do some custom setup that I'm not going to get into. We're only using the single image. And what that would mean is just that in each one of these cards, you would have a video, which you can also achieve not even using the dynamic product ads placement or ad unit. You can achieve that with a traditional carousel ad unit. So there's no reason to do it in here, basically. All right, so moving on, as we scroll down, basically all these options that we're messing with right now are going to modify the look and feel of this ad unit. So, and I will answer all your questions at the end. So we can customize these images in here. We can say, put the price on the images. And that obviously is in the product feed. So Facebook has that information and it can lay that over. We can set that price,
That's
in
awesome.
a pill shape. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we do it sometimes.
I didn't know you could do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they added this stuff in. You can do this kind of triangle thing here, right?
Whoa.
And what's cool about it is you can modify the position that it shows up in. Now, these products don't appear to have, oh, look at that. It's so expensive that it won't show it in this format. It won't show it in the triangle. It will only show it in the pill form. Look at that. Okay, so let's assume that we did this, okay, whatever, we made some customizations. The other thing to know that's pretty fancy about this new editor for dynamic product ads is if you want, you can create what's called a 1080 by 1080 frame that sits around the border of these images. You can literally upload a custom image if you have your designer create a 1080 by 1080 frame, which we have set to test for the holiday season. We'll be testing some holiday frames on our DPAs. I'm not going to worry about this now, but you can do some stuff as it relates to customizing the actual imagery, where Facebook will dynamically lay over background images that you create and information onto your image, such as the product price. So I'm going to go ahead and click done, and you'll notice they are going to update my carousel to display what that is going to look like. Right now, we get to set the headline and subheadline for these ads. Now, my favorite way to do it is to have the headline be dynamic with the name of the product. That's how I always do it. Notice it'll pull in the name of the product, and usually what I would do underneath it is keep it real simple and include the price. Now, in this case, since we have already set the price, I could do something like truncate the product description, right? So I'm going to go ahead and delete this price, and now the headline will be here, and then it will go into whatever's in my product description if I want. And you can in your feed customize your product description so they're real short so that they show up. You could also do, you could upload your short description ID, which is a field that you have in your products that you can update that is specifically for this use case. It's a shorter description of your product. We are not passing that into our feed. So we might use, for example, let me zoom out a little bit, see what else we got. Hold on a second. You could do custom labels for each product. You could do anything you want. I'm going to leave it as price because that's how we have our set currently. And I would probably get rid of this weird purple pill and make it look a little fancier with red or something. But anyways, you could also write the same thing for each one, which is buy this now or whatever. And now my feed, and you can see that'll be on each individual card if you want to go that route. But it's better to have it be dynamic so that each card has dynamic information that's relevant to that product, which is why we generally, in these sections, rather than writing something static, we create we have the dynamic information for that product passed in there. And we're doing it with the price. We're putting the price there, but it is kind of nice to have the price on the image. I'd be interested to split test that. Now, the see more URL comes at the end of your product catalog, okay? So at the end of your product catalog, you have up here what's known as a profile card, right? So this is the profile card, and that is going to pull in the image that is related to your Facebook page. So your Facebook page's main profile image will pull in dynamically your Facebook page here. This is our main profile image. You'll notice that that is dynamically pulling in to this profile card. Now, if you want, you can just say remove that card and it will not even be there. Then it'll just be products. I'm a big fan of this card because I find people scroll through it and then they click over to it. So what I do is I put the profile card on and I actually set it to be the URL of my store, so that at the end, it could take the users who scrolled all the way through the products and thought they wanted to shop more, it'll take them right over to the store page. And so and you can set your display link for see more, like boom, by cindyjoseph.com. And you're going to notice that because I did that, that URL now shows up. Oh, look at that. It stays in all caps, so it doesn't matter. You set your buttons. Shop now is a really good one. And scroll down all the way to the end and click confirm, and that is going to create that specific ad campaign targeting an awareness level with a specific product set that's going to display in these ads. And then you have an ad, and then if you wanted, you could go back in and create another ad with different content above it here and test. And we did this when we first started running these, and then we found the winner and just let it run. Test different testimonials, test different body copy above this carousel. And at some point, you may want to turn this off, this ad set off, and create a new ad set that's targeting the same group that is using a different product set that has a different product that shows up first. Because remember, the way that the products are in that product set that you created is how they're going to show in the actual ad unit, if on the awareness level, right? So when someone has visited your products and you're targeting people on the retargeting level based on products they visited, it's going to dynamically insert the products they visited. But on the awareness level, is this making sense, Molly?
Yeah,
On the
absolutely.
awareness level, the products that are in this ad that are showing up when you're targeting cold traffic, the products that are in this catalog ad are going to be in the order that you have created them in the product set. And sometimes the order of the products, I would recommend creating a product set with your most popular products first / your most best margins first. But that can make a difference on the awareness level, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Okay, so do you think now that we are 55 minutes in, I still need to cover how to set up this campaign, which is the retargeting campaign, where we're targeting people who visit our product page and not our cart in the last 7 days, 7 to 14 days. Should we take any questions about awareness level dynamic product ads right now, or should we go into the retargeting dynamic
I don't
product
think
ads?
there was anything specific to awareness. There are questions. So let's just roll into the retargeting part and we can end with questions.
Okay, great. So let me show you what we have here. We have two individual ad sets in our retargeting pillar. And the first one is 5/31/18, which is when this started, dynamic product ads 7 days. And what that refers to is that's going to target anyone who visited one of our products in the last 7 days. And you can see that we've spent 10 grand on that and we've made 63 at $10 a purchase. For where we are in our brand, is the basically some of the cheapest sales we get, because our brand has the issue of, we spend millions of dollars a year on ads. Every woman who's over 55 in America who's on Facebook has seen our stuff for years now. So we have a type of banner blindness slash we're at a stage in our business where we're willing to spend a lot more than most businesses are on acquisition. So like this is why I'm like, don't look at my numbers. My numbers are for a brand that is 8 years mature, that has different goals than what your brand does. But these numbers right here are still incredible. And so what this is when someone comes to this page, right? They see Boomstick Color, for example, right? And then they abandon it. They don't add the product to the cart, because if you add the product to the cart, I'm doing something different. I'm targeting you differently. I'm not using dynamic product ads. So it's only for people who visit the page and then abandon. So I am showing them ads for 7 days, and I'm going to show you how that is set up. But it's super profitable. You can see here,
Yeah.
10 to spend 60, and then you can see we have a different ad unit that's running to people who see it 7 to 14 days, and that is spent 7 to generate 20. So still really good for us. We'll spend $19 for a sale all day long, because this
And it's
website
free.
purchase.
And
Sorry.
it's free money, Ezra. These ads, it might seem a little complicated to set up, but all you're doing is just really plugging a hole in your sales funnel, right? So, I mean, these are no-brainers to set up, or you're just going to lose money.
Totally. And look, it is technical and complex and annoying to have to set up the tech to connect your e-commerce stores products to a data feed that publishes into Facebook that also talks to the Facebook pixel that's on your product pages, and you're probably going to need some tech help for that based on your technology setup. But once it's set up, once you've gone through the headache of doing all of that, you then have some really cool and fun targeting capabilities that
Yeah.
are not available to you otherwise. And there is training out there on how to do this specifically. And I will tell you what else, Molly Pittman, is I'm about to have to redo all this for Boom, and then either me or Boris, but probably me, and then Boris will learn it, and then I'm going to hand off DPAs to him, because that's one of the areas of our ad campaign with Boom that I still directly manage. It might be the only area of our ad campaign with Boom that I still directly manage that he doesn't. But point being is I'll come back on and show you how we did it for Shopify, soup to nuts.
Cool. I
It
love
may
it.
be.
And just real quick, guys, too, a few people have asked, this isn't just for e-commerce either. Even if you're selling info products, you could manually set this up. I know I set this up for Digital Marketer when we were selling courses, and we weren't on Shopify. So this can still be leveraged even if you're not, an e-com company.
Yeah, and remind me at the end of this, Molly, to show the quick and dirty way to get a carousel ad if you only have a few products, and I can show how to achieve all this without even creating a product feed for people who only have like 3 to 5 products and are selling info. It'll take me 3 minutes to show it,
Heck yeah.
but I will forget if
Awesome.
I'm not reminded.
I'll remind you.
Okay, sweet. So let's look at this, let's look at the targeting here. I want to explain the targeting of this particular, and I want to show you visually one more time, okay? So what we're looking at right now from a visual perspective in our sales funnel is all the way when someone visits a product page, okay? And they abandon without buying, we are showing them a carousel ad that is dynamically populating with products that they visited while on our site. It is this part of the sales funnel here, and it's worth a lot of money. So let's go in and look at the targeting on that, which is one of the options that I'll show you. So I'm just going to edit this just to show you the targeting. So you can see we have our ad set name. We've chosen the product set. We've chosen the budget. And we have selected retarget products to people who visited your website or app. So we didn't select this one that lets us do a cold audience. We selected this one here. And let me cancel that, because what it did was it modified the targeting settings. So let's open this back up. We're going to scroll down, and what you can see is that we have selected viewed or added to cart but not purchased. So this is now funky, because the way that we had done it, let me get out of here and give me a second. So I want to show you a little bit more of a complex setup. Let's edit this one real quick. Okay, this is what I'm talking about here. Let me show you. Let me just explain these. These are their standards, right? When you select this targeting option, when you've created a campaign, you've selected catalog sales as the objective, you're now in the ad set level, you've named your ad, you've selected your product set, you've set your budget, and now you're choosing who you want to target. They give you some standards. They say view or added to cart but did not purchase. So anyone who viewed a product or added a product to the cart but didn't buy, and they give you a default of the last 14 days. And the thing to remember about retargeting is that shorter windows perform better. As mentioned, if you look at our campaign, right, you can see that 85% of the sales from this dynamic product ads retargeting campaign, we'll zoom out a little bit here, 85% of the sales are happening in the first 7 days. And then 20% of the sales, or let's say 75% of the sales are happening in the first 7 days, only 20% are happening in the last 7 days. So focus on that first 7 days, and you may even want to go deeper and do, and we probably will when we restructure this, target people for 3 days with one creative, 3 days with another, etc. But they give you the standard of viewed or added to cart but not purchased, and then you can select the date range. Added to cart but didn't purchase, and this would be if you just want to target people who visited your shopping cart. And then they have some other standards, which is upselling products, where they're saying you could promote products from this product set to people who viewed that product set in the last 7 days, or cross-selling people who purchased from it. The way that we're leveraging it is we're doing what's called a custom combination. So from this product set, we're saying anyone who viewed the product in the last 14 days but did not add it to the cart in the last 14 and did not view it in the last 7. So that is how we are achieving the people in the 7 to 14 day window, right? This is the 7 to 14 day window, which means you viewed it in the last 14, but not in the last 7. So basically, let me show you setting this up from scratch, how you would probably do it before we get into our complex situation. Let's go from scratch. So from scratch, catalog sales, right? Then you name that whatever you want. You select your product catalog, you click continue. Ad set, you're going to name that. You're going to select your product set. And here, this is what most people are going to do. Just set this to 7 days. And that's what you want. Anyone who viewed the product or added it to the cart but didn't purchase in the last 7 days, that's the simplest setup. Automatic placements, and then you go ahead and you create the ad that you want, which in our case is this ad unit right here. It's about women, it's about beauty, it's about time, full satisfaction guarantee. So we're just modifying the copy. We're always running the carousel, and it's going to dynamically populate this carousel based on what products you viewed or didn't view when you set it up. When you set it up to, where'd that targeting go? Sorry, I lost my targeting window. I got a lot of windows open. Here you go. It's going to dynamically populate this carousel with products that people visited in those last 7 days. And I think that that's the simplest and easiest way to make money with this, is to do people who viewed the product or added to the cart in the last 7 days and just turn it on. And then you could also do, you could do one for 14 days, and then you could exclude the people who visited in the last 7. And so now you have, 7 to 14 days. You could do multiple pieces of creative. You could do fun stuff with the ad. But if you look at where we're getting the most bang for our buck, it's on the top line, targeting new people at a very small budget. So, for us, $1,000 a day is a really small percentage of our ad spend. And so this may not seem like a small budget, but that's probably 10% of our ad spend that we're using on DPA for top line, right? And then we are using DPAs totally. We're using them only. So the only ad unit that we have for people who visit our product pages and abandon them is DPA ad unit, 7 days, and then 7 to 14 sees a different ad. And then on the cart, when someone visits the cart, we're not using DPAs here. We're showing them a video ad or an image ad or a messenger ad. We're doing some more advanced stuff for cart visitors, and then bring back in DPAs to leverage this targeting strategy here, which would be people who purchased from this product set. They purchased from this product set in the last 14 days, and we want to target them. They purchase these products, we want to target these other products. So you can do that on the back end, but it all comes down to the same ad unit. And then basically what's happening is the products that are displaying are dynamic based on whatever the behavior was. So I think I'm getting sort of like it's now getting, so I'm sort of droning on here. So
For
maybe
sure.
it's time
No,
to
this
stop.
is great. And I was going to say the cross sell and the upsell, that's amazing because, normally you would have to set up some sort of monetization campaign with a product that might not be super specific to what they bought, right? So to be able to set up, more of a monetization campaign here and it be directly related to something that they just purchased, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, and real quick, just to show you, so so basically, you'll notice that another product set shows up here when you're setting up cross-selling to people who purchased. Now you have set the product set that you want to promote, right? So let's say I promoted, let's say Boomsticks was populating in here, which it's still not, but it will in a minute. But let's say I even just create, I'm just going to create one, right? Let's say I'm using in this ad unit, I'm promoting um, Boomsticks. So let me just do this real quick. Boomstick color, glimmer, trio, glow. Okay, so I'm just going to call this Boomsticks 1 just for now. Okay, so I just created a product set that I'm going to use in this ad set. I'm going to create it, and now this particular ad set is going to be leveraging, doesn't want to create for me. But for example, I'm not going to wait for it, but let's say that I chose, let's just imagine, okay, there we go, Boomsticks. Okay, so it worked. So this particular ad set is going to be creating ads that are going to contain the Boomsticks, right? So now here I can say anyone who purchased, and let's say I had one. Look at, now I got 5 of them in here. That's crazy. They all just populated. But let's say, for example, that this was Boom Silk, right? This was another category of products, which would be easy to create. So now I am cross-selling the Boomsticks, which is this product set, to people who purchased from this other product set in the last 7 days. So do you see how the post-purchase cross-sell works? The ad unit remains the same. The ad unit is just going to dynamically pull in the Boomsticks, and it's going to have whatever content and stuff I put on there. But the magic of that cross-sell is happening in this targeting capability.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. We used to have to set up custom audiences that said, if they landed on this page, but not this, or, this used to be done in such a manual way.
And it
This
still
is
will be
super
for video
cool.
ad units, right? But
Right.
for other ad units, like just for the DPA ad unit, you can do some fun stuff. You don't get to leverage this same tech that they have without doing custom URLs and shit in your targeting, if you're
Right.
not using DPAs. But it's a great ad unit, and you should use it for cross-selling in addition to other ad units.
Awesome.
Okay, so now I have officially, I get a
People
little
are loving it.
hexed. I know I get a little hexed when when the bulk of the content is very technical, which unfortunately for dynamic ads, it's a lot of tech jargon and catalogs and pixels and events and stuff that is really not fun, but ultimately gives you a lot of power over your advertising. And now I'm totally happy to answer questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Ez. That was amazing. We've got a good amount of questions for you. So I'm just going to start with the most recent ones coming in. So Sue brings up a good question about the 50 conversions a week. She said that will require a bit of traffic. Have you guys run any of these where you're not getting 50 conversions a week and still seeing success, or is your budget
Okay.
keeping you over that number?
So I would like to point out the 32 website purchases here, right? Let's just go back. We'll just go grab a random week, okay? So looks like we're getting about 50 per ad set, or between 30 and 50 per ad set on these ones where it's people who visited the product and didn't didn't add it to the cart. And the objective that we're optimizing for is the add to cart objective. Now, if we look at that objective, you can see that the add to cart had 111 and the add to cart on this one had 57. So we're optimizing for the add to cart objective so that we end up with more conversion events on a weekly
Right.
basis in that particular ad set. Does that
Cool.
make
So
sense?
that's a good way to go about that too. Yeah, totally. Therese says for retargeting ads, do you do abandoned cart sequence and the retargeting ads, or just one of those to avoid ad fatigue or appearing to be spam?
You're definitely not going to appear to be spam if you have an email abandoned cart sequence and also ads. In fact, you want both. You want as many communication mediums active as possible. I get I get so many emails, and I don't even look at email. I end up getting retargeted by ads when I come back to purchase. It's not generally the retargeting email. So a lot of times you won't hit, you'll get different people. So I recommend having both retargeting ads for cart visitors and having those retargeting ads on every available platform, Instagram, Facebook, etc., and having the abandoned cart email
Yeah.
sequence for sure.
Yeah, be present in as many places as you can be. And also realize they've interacted with your brand, so they expect to hear from you. People are used to scrolling around Amazon and seeing that product, on Facebook a few hours later. So, cool. Sue said, if you've only got 2 or 3 SKUs, is this worth doing? And Ezra, this is my reminder for you to show us how you would set it up manually if you just had a few products.
Okay, so if I just had a few products, what I would do is I would run a conversion campaign. So I'd leverage the objective of conversions, and I would say, retargeting. And it can be in your normal retargeting campaign as well, but let's just say it's retargeting product visitors or offer page. If you're someone with only like 3 products, and probably maybe you call them offer pages. Retargeting offer page visitors. You're gonna do your same thing here, where you're optimizing for a particular conversion event. Maybe it's purchase, maybe it's add to cart, whatever you want there. Depending on how many conversion events you're getting with your budget and stuff like that, it'll probably be either purchase or add to cart. You're going to go ahead and set your audiences, whereas in this case, it's going to be, it's likely that you are going to be targeting audiences that you've created. So either custom audiences or saved audiences of, like, someone who visited, someone who visited, for example, I don't have an example of an individual product page. Let's see. Someone who visited like these 3 products. So in my audiences, let me just actually show you this. Okay, so let's imagine that we were doing this for Smart Marketer. Okay, so in the audiences, I would create a audience, a saved audience here. So I'd go to my. Have you gone into audience creation and stuff, Molly?
Yeah, we have.
Okay, cool. So I go to create audience, custom audience, and then I'm going to go website traffic, and then I would say, people who visited specific web pages, right? And then maybe it's like,
Right.
maybe all 4 of my products are in the /products, that they all live on that URL. So I put that in there. That's going to capture anyone who visited my products. I would name that product page visitors. I'd create that audience, right? So then in here, I would have an audience called, let's just say, product visitors. I'm just going to select a random one, but you would be selecting that audience of people who had visited those 3 products of yours, or those
And
3 offer pages.
that audience updates dynamically, guys. So don't forget
Yes.
that, right? It's going to continue to update as people visit the page.
And maybe you're doing something fancy like me, where you're excluding people who visited the cart. At the very least, you're excluding buyers, right? So you don't want to target people who bought from you in the past. So I'll just grab any old buyer audience, but you would be targeting, these are going to be the people who visited your product pages or offer pages. These are going to be the people you're excluding, which is going to be your buyers or your cart visitors, depending if you're getting that deep in your retargeting. But for now, let's just say you got product page visitors and you're excluding your buyers. So we scroll on down, select whatever placements you want. Now we move on to the ad format. Now in the ad format, this is the quick and dirty way to do a dynamic ad based on, you only have 3 products. Well, guess what? You just build a traditional carousel ad and you modify each individual carousel image with different product images, right? I do this all the time for Smart Marketer because I'll have people who visit both Zipify apps, right? Let's just grab, I mean, obviously these are not going to be these are just, I'm giving you examples, but then you modify the headline of this one, which is going to be like, Zipify pages. And then it's like landing page builder, right? And then this card is going to take you to zipify.com/apps/pages, right? So now this card is the Zipify pages card, but then the next card, maybe I want to do a video in here. I can even have a video in one card and an image in another. So I'm going to grab this video and be like, this is a video that, imagine this is a video that promotes OCU, right? Now it's over a minute, so they're saying it can't work on Instagram, but I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to be like, 1 click upsell, and then I'm going to say, damn, son, OCU is the bomb. All right. And then you put in, your URL, whatever. Let's just imagine, you put that in there. Now, what you have is, and then you would add your third carousel. Let's just say you threw in a random product image or something, right? Like, let's grab a square image here. Grab your whatever third product you want to promote. And you can put in your text above your ad, which is, hey there, partner. Obviously, it wouldn't be all caps. Forgetting something. It would be better copy than that, Well, hot.
I think we should give it a try.
To remember,
See this.
you want to buy this, yo, or whatever. Okay, let's just imagine that you had some sales copy. Okay, so now if we view this on like desktop newsfeed, we have a carousel advertisement with dynamic media on a per offer basis that is being retargeted to people who visited a small number of our offers. So it's just a traditional carousel ad, but they're a really powerful ad unit and fun ad unit. And the beauty of building it manually is you get to do images and video. You get to do mixed media, which we didn't really get into in dynamic product ads. But this is a real powerful ad unit, and that's how you do that.
And I've done something similar for, like Sue said, companies that are selling less than 5 products. Sometimes it can just be easier to set it up this way.
Way easier, dude. Look, you should not be doing the feed and all the madness unless you have a minimum of like 12 to 15 products.
Yeah,
otherwise,
that scares me a
let's
little
not
bit.
even, let's not even bother at that point.
Awesome. So with the dynamic feed, if you add a new page, new product to the store, does it automatically update the catalog, say, for all products?
Well, that is the value. Yes. So if you have a feed, it's going to automatically update this product set here, which if you're running on the awareness level a product set that is all of your products, then it will automatically get updated. But if you're running a product set where you didn't include the new products that got added, then you'll have to create a product set that includes those. So it depends on what product set is being advertised. If you have a feed that is connected to your catalog, it's going to constantly update your products in here, and then it will update
that's the
those
beauty
products.
of it.
Yeah, and it'll update those products in any product sets that they're already in. Like for example, the Boomsticks product set. If I make edits to the Boomstick product on my Shopify store, and then my feed connects to my catalog and uploads it in here, then in that product set where those products are being advertised, that update's dynamic, right? But if you add a new product and you don't have a product set that has that new product in it, like you're not using all products, for example, then it won't be in there.
Awesome. All right, Ez, that's all the questions we have as of now.
Okay, sweet. That was a lot, you guys. Awesome. I talked really fast, and I got a little confronted when we were 30 minutes in, and I had only shown you bullet points. So it's a complex topic.
It's great though, and it's something that you don't hear a lot about. I mean, I learned a ton here. So guys, even if you're not selling physical products, how can you leverage these types of campaigns or even just simple, carousels like Ezra just showed, setting it up manually, just to make sure you're picking up that low-hanging fruit, right? You're sending cold traffic to your website. Where are people falling off? How can we scoop them back up and get them on the wagon? Sue says this was awesome. Thank you so much. I kind of think this is better than manual because you're not worrying about audiences manually. It's kind of a push of a few buttons inside Facebook. Yeah, I agree, especially when it comes to the cross-sell stuff. It can be really complicated to say, okay, someone just bought this, now show them this other product. That can be tough to do manually. So I totally agree, Sue. Patricia says, Ezra, awesome job. Thanks, Ez, from Omari. Appreciate it, as always. Wicked content from Michael King. Jason says, hey, Ez, any more advanced retargeting stacks than the 2 DPAs you showed? Are you using anything else? Any other ideas?
We're using it on the back end, like I was saying, to cross-sell one category to another category, right? So as a way to say, hey, you bought X, you didn't buy Y. We're using it in that
right.
And for now, we're just doing basic retargeting and basic front end. But when we go in and restructure our campaign, which actually, Molly, you'll be a part of, right? Because we're doing that at the end of the, Anyways, won't talk too much about that, but we're going to likely break up the product visitor retargeting into shorter windows, like 1 to 2 day, the first 2 days, second 2 days, that kind of thing, and modify the ad creative. It'll still be DPAs, but like the text above the ads will be different, so that every day or two in the first week that you have visited our product page, you will be seeing different ad creative, and we can show that once that's finished. And for us, we have a small product catalog. We don't have if I had like I mean, I'm familiar with DPAs, right? Because I come from a background of multi-thousand SKU e-commerce, and there was a type of DPAs back in the day that Google had, their original Google Shopping and feed ads and stuff. And so there's a lot of fun stuff you can do if you have a big catalog. And since we're not really doing all that crazy stuff. But I think that like 90% of the value is going to come from straight up product page retargeting, cart retargeting,
Mm-hmm.
post-purchase cross-selling, and front end, a percentage of your front end ad spend going to that ad unit. I mean, that's where you're going to get most of your value. You don't have to get too fancy with it.
Awesome. Patricia says, can this be used for brick and mortar? How about dentists doing implants and dentures? Patricia, you definitely wouldn't need to go into the complexity of setting up a catalog and everything that we talked about, but you definitely want to be retargeting people, right? I know you're probably sending traffic to a landing page for the free offer that you came up with. I can't remember exactly what it was, but you want to make sure that you're retargeting people who are interacting with that page. You can even upload customer data and retarget based off of people that came in for a consultation but never became a patient. So just think about what your sales process is, and then think about how you can set up these ads to plug those holes, but you don't need to go into the complexity that Ezra went in today. Sue says, do you still do Google remarketing or all on the Facebooks now?
We're deep in the Google life. We love Google. We're super deep, man. We're all about Google. We're all about Google Shopping, Google Display Network, YouTube, Google Search. We use it. We use every part of Google, and we leverage it mainly for retargeting. I think uh, yeah,
Yeah,
we
likewise.
we love it. So I think you should. I
Uh,
think look, get one platform down first. Figure out Facebook and Instagram, get
yeah,
that rolling, and then the first step is to roll whatever retargeting that you have on Facebook and Instagram over to Google.
yeah. And like we talked about early in the course, guys, Facebook's like, it's the billboard. It's a cheap way to get your brand out in front of people who have never heard of you before. Platforms like Google and YouTube are awesome for retargeting, where they can be a little bit more tough for the cold traffic. Alrighty. So Jason said, I may have missed it. What's the time frame for upsell, cross sell? How long after the purchase should you cross sell or upsell?
You definitely it's market specific, right? Like we know that the first 14 days after someone buys is our best window to sell an additional item, and so we're working via email and advertising in that 14-day window with different little chunks: first 3 days, first 6 days, 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, etc. Doing different things, some of which are dynamic product ad creative, some of which are video ad creative, etc. But generally, for most e-commerce stores, the first 14 days are going to be the most important for a cross sell or an upsell. And you could do something like where, between they make a purchase, and then between 1 and 3 days after, right? So the next day, the next day, and the next day, you have a dynamic ad carousel that is being targeted to them to market to them a product from a category they didn't purchase in. And then maybe from like 3 to 6 days, you have a traditional sort of video that's just about your brand and your products that leads over to your catalog, your store page. And that's kind of like what you run for the next 3 days, right? And now what
Right.
we're doing is so that would be achieving our desired goal, which is mixing up the ad creative that people see throughout their sales journey. So maybe for the first 3 days, they see that DPA cross sell, and then they see a sales video, then maybe they see an image ad, right? So it's going to depend. And the way that we do it is we leverage DPAs. We kind of mix it up. Sometimes it's in the first 3 days, sometimes in the first, then sometimes it's 3 to 6. I have to look at our current post-purchase marketing flow, but there's a lot of different stuff you can do. And the one thing to know is that you'll get the most bang for your buck in the first 14 days. And if you want to set it up simply, then you just set up a DPA ad that runs for 14 days after someone buys, if you're not going to do any more complex post-purchase cross-selling other than DPAs, and you set it to market them products that they hadn't purchased yet.
Love it. And also, it's going to be different for every business. You have to think about the customer journey and how quickly they're consuming whatever they just purchased from you in the first place, right? So, for example, if you had some sort of subscription service, you could use that cross sell to remind them to continue or to purchase again 30 days later, right? Because they're running out of the razor or, whatever it is that they purchased from you. So, always with this stuff too, put it into context of when would someone need another one of these items, right? Upsells are easier because it's a different product, but definitely put that into context too. Patricia says, Ezra and Molly, you're caring and kind. Thank you. You're awesome. Thanks, Patricia. Likewise. One more question as if you set this up and use, okay, this is, Sue says, what about Instagram shopping? So we'll just make that simple. Do you have any
Um,
thoughts?
yeah,
And just a
shoppable.
little more context too. She said, if you set this up and use Instagram placement, is this Instagram shopping or is the big news about Instagram shopping taking place on Instagram or linking it into the Facebook catalog like you've already showed us today?
So shoppable Instagram is where you can tag products within pictures in your Instagram feed. So another thing that I forgot to mention that's kind of fun that I want to show you, Molly, and really, so anyone who waited all the way to the end is going to get a special tip that I forgot to go over. That was actually in my notes to cover, which is that once you're this is a really fun way that this catalog supports you not only with your advertising but with your social media marketing. Is once you have that catalog updated, right? You can then, and connected to your Facebook page, you can create a post that has like a video, or even it just like, I wish I had a, let's see if I have a photo or a video I can upload. Let's say I uploaded, I'm just going to grab some random image. Let's hope it's an appropriate one. Um, Okay, so I've got an image, right? And I'm like, yo, the sale is going down, or whatever you want to say, right? You can then, in this post, you can actually tag products, right? So I can then tag products from my product feed. Now this is pulling up the
This was my gateway drug into dynamic product ads.
yeah,
I was
and
like,
so
what's
this
this tag?
well, what's cool about this, Molly, is that let's say I did this, right? Let's say actually I'm going to go ahead and post this right to the Boom store, and I'm going to share it just with a restricted audience so nobody sees it, and it'll just go to uh, you know it'll go to, I guess we'll just do 25 plus, and we'll just do California only. So we'll see what happens there. So we're going to save this restricted audience, and we're going to share it. Now look at what happens. uh, that when I publish this post, and Laura, who's on here, is probably freaking out because this is live on our page. Uh-oh.
What are you doing?
This post will actually show. Sorry, I'm going to delete this. But I don't want, if we get a lot of action, so I don't want to, I don't actually want it on there. But basically, what will happen is that post will then show those products under,
Right.
in the actual. It'll show it right under the image, and then you can boost that. Like we tag products sometimes. So let's see if we can find one that has a product tag. So
Like a really good quick example of this, I think if you guys go to Gabby Bernstein's Facebook page, her top pin post is this viral video she did, and then she simply just tagged her book below it. So you can see how this looks, right? It's just you've got your normal stuff going on at the top, but whatever products you tag show up at the bottom.
yeah, and so what you can do then is put posts, and then you could do like page post amplification ads where you're amplifying posts that have those products attached to them. So you can do fun stuff. So the dynamic product ad placement is separate from shoppable Instagram. Shoppable Instagram is similar to this, where it's like you have a post that has an image in it that then has a product tagged in that image.
Awesome. Alrighty, as people are laughing at your copy.
Oh yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
I love it. Sue said, "Oh yeah, that's easy, but where does the sale happen?" Well, I would assume that it would open up.
Oh, well, it takes you to the product, right?
Right,
So the
exactly.
point of the dynamic product ad is going to take you to that product page. It's not doing integrated social commerce where it's then popping open that sale event inside of Facebook or inside of Instagram. It's not
Right.
like that, right? It's
Just go into the product page.
yeah,
Cool. Very cool. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for showing up as always, as this was amazing. Really, really
cool.
appreciate it.
Yeah, and
And
we can once we get Boom more better, the infrastructure a little cleaner, we can go back through the actual technology side as it relates to Shopify. So we have some level of guide, at least for Shopify stores. But until then, it's kind of like, hey, look at your own tech setup and get it going.
alrighty, sounds great. Cool, guys. I will see you on Monday for our feedback call. And hope you guys have a good weekend. Start setting up some DPAs. Make sure you have some monetization campaigns set up to take advantage of that cold traffic. As thanks again, buddy.
Thanks, Molly. Bye.
All right. Bye, guys. See ya.